Ladies and gentlemen, we got our first dub of the year, Broncos Country. I am so happy to be here for the Buck Your Feelings post-game show. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a quarterback. And you know what? Surprising to myself, and I think a lot of other Broncos Country, we have a dynamic offensive play caller. We already knew that we had a baller defense, and they showed up just the way they always do this game. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, our offense, we took the training wheels off. We're back. We're finally back. And we have hope for the future. And I can't wait to get into it with you fine folks today. So buckle up. We're going to get some Buck Your Feelings post-game vibes going. Let's bow. Welcome to the Buck Your Feelings post-game show. I am your host, Jay Weaver, the Dream Weaver. I am riding solo on this post-game of Buck Your Feelings today, but my gosh, I've got a lot of opinions, a lot of pointed notes in the old handy-dandy notebook to go over today with you fine folks. What a hell of a game. It is finally nice to have some positive vibes to roll off of, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You know, one thing that I have been beating a dead horse about for many a years here is that not only have we been subpar from a box score, a final score standpoint, but we've been boring. And this game was far from it. It's super nice to finally have a game to sink our teeth into that had dynamic play calling, had different playmakers put into positions to capitalize on their skill sets of why they have a roster spot and why they are on this team. And this was a great showcase of a game to put forth those specific playmakers and show what they got. We had some quite a bit of highlights, obviously, in a 26-7 victory, but we had a couple lowlights for, some players that whether they didn't play, like Mike McGlinchey, that we'll get into as far as the offensive line differences that we saw in this game, and some players that played that we saw some definite lowlights out of, such as Javonte Williams. There were quite a bit of differences in this game compared to the last two games and compared to the preseason as a whole. So we'll get into it, though. Plenty of things to dissect in this game on both sides of the ball. But let me just start with, just kind of shout out to the network in general. Orange and Blue Network here. For anyone that's new to this, please like, share, and subscribe. We are a fan-led network that honestly we give our 2 cents to what we see in a game, to the fan analysis, as we call ourselves. But please show your love on Orange and Blue Network there. That's who we are. Also simulcast and in partnership with MHRT Network as well. So please go on to their channels. They have a lovely lineup of shows as well. So thank you very much for joining us once again. This is the Buck Your Feelings post-game show. And guys, I want to start out by just giving some huge props to Sean Payton. First and foremost, we'll get into how well Bo Nix played and how well Bo Nix looked as far as, being comfortable in this offense. But it really starts and ends with Sean Payton, in my opinion. The play calling was far different than what we had experienced in previous games. The dynamic nature of the personnel that he had on specific plays was massive. And look who it is. It is my cousin, Johnny Bakke, the Mile High Viking. How are you there, sir? How are the vibes in Colorado?
Oh, I will not even lie to you, cuz I stepped outside. So I was over to and somebody else.
Oh,
number 3.
We're just trickling in here. Trickling in.
Oh, he went out. He went back. There he is. There he is.
Isaiah Mookie Henderson. What up, dude? How are you?
What's up?
Hey, how you feeling?
Dude.
I don't think I'm allowed to use the words I want to use, but I'm speechless right now. I'll let you guys go. And
I'll speak since literally, Isaiah, I jumped on not even 30 seconds before you did. So, yeah. Dude, right now, like I've had to hightail it from my friend's house a couple miles away to my parents' house to jump back into my makeshift podcast studio, which, by the way, guys, what do you think of the green screen?
I like it a lot. Looks good.
Isn't that cool?
Love
Very
it.
Hollywood.
It's cool, dude. I feel like I'm a weatherman, like today there's a chance there's 100% chance the Denver Broncos beat the crap out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And no, listen, I kid you not, when I stepped outside my friend's house, I stepped outside and I screamed, "Broncos Country!" And I joked with you not, at least 3 people down the road, like in different places, were shouting, "Yeah!" The vibes here are real, bro. The vibes here are real, and I'm feeling every bit of them. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I am pumped. I know you guys are too, man. Oh!
Hey, guys, I just want to let you know, I'm listening to Sean Payton live. So I'll keep you guys updated because he's doing the press conference. So I'm just letting you guys. So I'm going to update you guys what he's saying as we do the show.
All right.
So I just want to start with the offensive play calling was just such a monumental shift. I phrased it in numerous chat rooms during the game of that the training wheels are off. We finally opened up the actual meat and potatoes of what Sean Payton can bring to this offense.
Yes.
No more vanilla. We are twist cone.
I love it. No, here's the thing. You said it. The training wheels are off. Okay. We've now seen what this offense is actually capable of. And what that really comes down to, I'm watching the whole game. Sean Payton finally got out of his own way and said, "All right, Bo, you're my boy. I trust you. Do it." That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Sean Payton finally gave some trust to his quarterback to execute.
Yep. Yeah. And that was the key to the game was, unfortunately, the run game came out rough. It came out tough. But as you immediately from the first drive, you can see Sean Payton wanted up tempo, no huddle, quick, let's go, putting completely the game on Bo Nix's shoulders, all of it. Hey, we're gonna come out, we're gonna throw, we're gonna throw immediately, we're gonna throw all the time. It's gonna, we're gonna throw it, but we're gonna throw it at you. And we came out aggressive, and we came out strong, fast tempo, scoring touchdown drive, and he put all his trust on Bo Nix. And like you said, Jay. he completely opened up the playbook and said, "Hey, go ahead.
Dude,
No, go ahead. This is yours." And
yeah,
he showed that he can handle it. And then
and
later on, the run
did.
game, emerged, and that's something we'll talk about later. But go ahead, Johnny.
And thank God that he did. I mean, 25 for 36 for 216 yards in the air. No interceptions. He still has yet to get his touchdown, though, but that's okay. We won the game, and we put up more than 25 points, boys.
The most control
26.
and dominant quarterback play without a touchdown that I've seen in a while. Like, there was no question who had control of the offense the entire game.
We scored 6 out of the 10 drives. 6 out of 10 drives. That's what we scored. And the announcers even said it during the game. They said our third down conversion wasn't as high as we wanted to be, but they said it doesn't matter because they're so successful on first and second down. They're not getting to too many third downs.
Right.
So I mean, that's how you saw the flow. And Johnny, you and I talked about it on the phone. You saw finally the rhythm, and everybody talked about it all week on Twitter. Sean Payton, Lombardi, they all talked about it. Was up tempo, no huddle. Bo Nix is very, very good in tempo and 2-minute type offense. So that signaled to everybody, okay, no huddle. You saw a lot of that today. You saw a lot of the RPO. You saw a lot more RPO.
Hey, which Jay will remember. I called out for. I called out for RPO, and Jay will remember. I called for RPO during the pregame. I mean, I was like, we got
9 carries for Bo Nix. 9. And
9 carries for 47 yards.
It made a large difference. It really did.
And one of them that was that huge scramble.
Yeah. No, dude, it wasn't just a scramble though. That was a full-on escape. And he saw the field. He found every opening he needed to, and he opened it up. We lost Isaiah again. Okay.
Two of the fourth down conversions were quarterback sneaks. And they mentioned it on the broadcast. That is something that we did see out of a Drew Brees-led offense quite often. Drew Brees is not a mobile quarterback, but he was smart enough to know his spots of where he was not going to be touched and the defense were not going to account for him. And Bo placed that perfectly on 2 different fourth down conversions.
Absolutely. Jay, who have you already talked to in the comments?
You know what? We haven't brought up anyone in the comments yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We need to get going on that. First of all, happy birthday to Blitz. He brought the positive vibes today, and I'm just so happy.
He wished on his birthday candle yesterday that the Broncos would win today. Happy birthday, Blitz.
Happy birthday, bud. Happy birthday, Blitz.
We did. We looked unstoppable. Bo didn't throw a touchdown. It is a little concerning over 3 weeks, but today's performance out of him, just in the poise and command that he had for the offense, to me negates getting a passing touchdown. That's not that big a deal to me today.
First off, Jay, that jersey looks incredible, dude.
Oh yeah, love the classic
the
Elway.
Vintage Elway. Love it.
Yeah, that looks good, dude. That looks good. That looks real good. Yeah, command and control. Command and control. Johnny, that should sound familiar to you. Command and control. That's what it was.
Talking about, you make it sound like I was in the army or something.
Full Glassman here. He did cover and he did call it Broncos to cover and the under. And he was correct. Right on the nose.
Did he say Broncos win?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Hey, full glass.
And Jay, even though I'll give you and Rob both on the pregame that the under was true, I would like to point out that my score for the Broncos was the closest. Because I said 27 points.
Yeah, but even if I would have picked over, I would have never guessed that the Broncos would have scored more than 25 points. So you're right. Like, it's still.
My prediction, Isaiah, was 27-17 Broncos.
Ooh. I see. Here's the thing. I knew our defense was good. I didn't know our defense was this good.
I mean,
I didn't know our defense.
I'm not going to complain about it at all.
So through the first 3 games, the Denver Broncos defense is averaging 134 passing yards against them. in 3 games. That's their average. And we've played Seattle, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay. Hot Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay.
It was 102 degrees. It was 102 degrees there.
Oh, yes.
Want to bring up another.
I don't want to say the name. Yeah.
No, this is a big point of emphasis on. We talk about the play calling, and that was independently different, but a massive catalyst for all the success was the offensive line. Massive,
huge step forward.
I'm floored of how well they did in McGlinchey's absence. As a group, they played extremely well. There was pressure at Bo, but I as much as I want to give the offensive line credit, I also want to probably give a little more credit to Bo for his pocket presence.
Yes.
Bo gravitated and pulled up when he needed to. He fled off when he needed to. He had just perfect awareness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But the offense.
You saw more pressures coming at Bo, though. You saw more pressures coming at Bo, though, from the center of the line than you did off the right tackle, which, given the fact that it was Alex Palczewski in there and not Mike McGlinchey, was concerningly going into the game. And Alex Palczewski, like Rich just said it, McGlinchey might not have the starting job when he comes back.
And I know we do game balls. And I'm already going to say right now, that was one of mine. That's what I was going to tell Johnny on the phone, but I didn't want to jinx it going into the fourth quarter. But the fact that I told Johnny I forgot McGlinchey was on IR, that's concerning for a high-paid right tackle. That's now we'll see if we'll see if he can be consistently that way. But congratulations to the depth. That's good. That's good on the depth. That shows that even though McGlinchey's out, we can now see that we have a right tackle that can hold it down. Now next week up in New York is going to be a little bit of a battle, but I don't think it's going to be any harder than anything we've seen so far. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can be consistent with that. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a clean game. Maybe 1 or 2 flags here and there, but it was a good clean game by the offensive line. No sacks. There was 0 sacks.
Who think?
Number 1 in the books. It's nice to kind of get that monkey off our back. 6'10" Mexican Don. He puts it perfectly. It's just nice to get it in the books. It's nice to be done with the Owen. So we're on to the number 1 in.
The Owen. Wow. Oh, yeah. That's a new soundbite. And that's a new soundbite for the show, Jay. We're going to get Owen Wilson saying, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. All right. Blitz be repping, popping in.
Did you guys... Go ahead, Johnny.
What? I was going to pull this up. Blitz be repping saying, Will Jordan Humphrey needs more playing time in this offense for sure. Troy Franklin looked pretty good today, too. Can't lie.
That was a massive deal. So Troy Franklin, granted, it was a bad late throw by Bo, but that crossing route, and I think the second quarter where Troy Franklin was wide open and it was just a little late, but it was the play call. It was how it was drawn up for Troy Franklin that made me so happy. We also got to see 2 instances of screens to Troy Franklin to get him in space with the ball. And that has nothing to do with his route running ability. It's just get playmakers in positions to do something with it. And that's a play calling thing.
In position to make a play.
Yeah.
That's it.
So different.
Simple.
KB82's in the house too, guys. Yeah. Where is it? I saw it a second ago.
He says he was saying happy birthday to Blitz. What's up, fellas? I heard they found a secret recipe and Knicks' helmet that Russell Wilson, Josh McDaniels, and Nathaniel Hackett all had control of. They found a secret earpiece. That's hilarious. Yeah. And I told Johnny that on the phone earlier. The announcer said it. They said the head coach right now is in the quarterback's head. He said they're on the same page. They're clicking right now. And they said at halftime, they said, I think something clicked. And that was one of the things with Bo Nix was his continuous and constant growth and progression. And they said Sean Payton, they said he was smiling because Sean Payton said he knew there was a breakout game. And we all knew it because we said, hold on, we see his efficiency, his accuracy, his competency, his processing ability. And we saw in the preseason, where is it now? This can't be real. And this was the game. This was the Bo Nix breakout game. And you saw I think it was 69.1% completion percentage, 216 passing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, no turnovers.
I got it for you. I got it for you right here. 25, 36, 216, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions.
But yeah, so you say, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just going to say it's aided by play calling. And what happened is we had play calls that kept the defense honest. So they couldn't load the box and have additional pressures on Bo Nix and squeeze the amount of yardage that we are trying to get plays in the 0 to 10 yard range. When we draw people out and keep those safeties out, that's giving Bo the time and the space to be able to make reads. That's a huge difference in this game compared to the other ones, at least to me.
Absolutely, and I'm going to toot my own. I'm going to toot my own horn on this one. All right, I have said every season, not just this season, it takes several weeks for offenses to gel and to mesh, especially when they're young. And what we saw, you said it earlier in the show, Isaiah. There was rhythm. We finally saw that gelling, that meshing, and look what we did.
I am the smartest man alive.
So, yes, and Blitz comes in and adds that, Johnny. He's giving us specifics on what we did. 7 sacks. Baker was feeling the pain. Bruh. That's just a good juxtaposition to our offensive line and our defensive line. On one side of the ball, we gave up 0 sacks. On the other side of the ball, we had 7 sacks. That, ladies and gentlemen, is complimentary football.
And totally redeem yourself.
We dominated lines on both trenches.
Yes,
both of them.
Absolutely.
Both of them. Both of them. It was incredible. And speaking of domination, Mike Evans did not exist.
No, PS2 shutting him down. He had a couple. Let's see. Mike Evans had. I'm pulling it up right now. Mike Evans had 2 receptions. Two receptions for 17 yards.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that is PS2.
PS2 is going to get DK Metcalf 3 catches for 29 yards. Pat Surtain versus George Pickens 1 catch, 16 yards. Mike Evans 2 catches, 17 yards. He's
PS2
the best corner
is the greatest corner in the NFL.
No flags today either. I thought we were getting that one, and it was called on PJ Locke.
Which, by the way, was kind of
that wasn't a flag on him. That wasn't a flag on him.
I know.
Yeah, that's what he said.
It wasn't, but I thought it was.
I thought we were getting it. Now, talking flags for a second, Garrett Bowles.
Did you guys know?
Yeah, Garrett holds.
Yeah, it was one, and it is. But did you guys know it's pronounced bidet?
Yeah. I was gonna bring this up. It is the bidet game, the Beatty game, the Batty game. However he wants to be called. And apparently, Andrew Mason
his name
said
is
that
actually
it is official.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it is official from Broncos PR that it is bidet.
I didn't know that.
Had no idea.
If I can be honest. If I had the opportunity to let people pronounce my name Beatty or Batty instead of bidet, I would, because I'm like, why would you correct them? Your name is apparently pronounced like a butt washing sink. Why would you want that? But you know what? I get it though. I guess I get it because I am so proud of my name. I'm so proud of who I am and where I come from that when someone mispronounces my name, I don't like it. So, I'll give it to him, but still.
Well, and he probably thinks, you guys better get my name right because I'm about to be the starting running back for this team. And as he should.
That's exactly
I declare.
All done
with Javonte. I called it before the season. I called it. I said I didn't think Javonte Williams would make the roster. He did make the roster, but now we're seeing why I didn't think he would. I just saw toward the end of last season, it just didn't, even if you're coming back from that, you should be able to average more than 2 yards a carry. And so now you've had an entire offseason, you've had carries, and it's not happening. And then you put Tyler Bidet in, and all of a sudden now he's explosive.
92. New name in the chat.
Here's to you.
Go Broncos from Everton in the UK.
From
Go
Everton in the UK. What's up, Guillotine? Appreciate that, my friend. Welcome to the orange and blue crew.
And so here's the interesting part about Tyler Bidet and him being now he's the Broncos rushing leader now. It's no longer Bo Nix. Here's the thing with that. We now have a run game. So we saw today what happens if you need Bo Nix to throw and he can be comfortable, you give him time, he'll tear your defense apart. But now we're starting to see, okay, we have a running back who's explosive and can make plays. Now we're adding a different tool to the arsenal, a different skill to the repertoire. So now we can be that more dangerous. And that also gives credit to George Payton in our depth. Because with Alex Pachuski, you see we have a good right tackle.
Palczewski. We're talking about pronouncing names right. It's Palczewski.
Palczewski. Thank you. Tyler Bidet, running back 4, maybe 5 on the practice squad, gets brought up. All of a sudden, he's jumped everyone, and now he's running back 1. So dude, that's fantastic to find out.
And you and I talked about it. You and I talked about it on the phone. Isaiah. Tyler Bidet, every single time he runs off of the right guard, every time he runs off Quinn Miners, he gets free. So I mean, like obviously the NFL is going to see that. They're going to try to choke that hole. But then all he has to do is switch sides and run off Ben Powers. He's absolutely just. I'm sorry that I misjudged Tyler Bidet. So, you know what? My crow, and I really hope to see him as our starter.
I wrote down.
Okay. Sorry.
No, let's say one thing I wrote down, even before Bidet had the big runs that he did. Interesting to see Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Bidet in the backfield together on multiple plays. That is speed that we can play so many different concepts out of. And I absolutely love the creativity to do something like that because both of those players can take it to the house at any point in time. And that's what we've been missing is speed and playmaking out of this offense. So kudos.
And you mentioned that. And speaking of speed, on that play that you mentioned with Troy Franklin, where Bo Nix just threw it half a second late, guess who was crossing over the top on that post route? That was Marvin Mims. So Marvin Mims was over the top, and Troy Franklin was coming underneath with the with that drag route. So you're starting to see that speed. You're starting to see that speed show up on the field. And so speaking of playmakers, D-Rock comes in. He says, "Shout out Tillman." Dondre Tillman came from the UFL or the XFL, I think, and now he has 2 sacks in the NFL. Just an absolute workhorse. And he's come up and he's earned it. He's definitely earned it.
He really did.
Applause to Dondre Tillman. He's absolutely earned it.
Another phenomenal game out of Zach Allen. Constant pressure. Franklin Myers had great pressure as well.
And a sack.
A great sack. And I will say, again, not on the stat sheet, but Nick Bonito flies around. He's not going to be a stat person. He's not getting the sack. But he's just constantly flying.
It's only a matter of time
to appreciate him.
It's only a matter of time.
Did you notice in the fourth quarter after Nick Bonito
I didn't notice
got the best on Tristan Wirfs, they put a chip on Nick Bonito for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
After he almost had that strip sack on Tristan Wirfs, they said, okay, yeah, no, They put a chip on him the rest of the game because they realized he's way too fast coming off that edge. If you can beat one of the best left tackles in the NFL, we got to chip this guy. We cannot let this guy go off like that. And that's where Dondre Tillman showed up and was able to get another. The defensive line, Vance Joseph, the whole defense, it's just this is what we needed. A 4 pressure. 4 people up front pressure. You have a good rotation, good depth, good bench players coming off, all producing. And it seems like year 3, year 4, all the draft picks that we thought had potential are now starting to blossom. They're now starting to blossom at the right time.
Let's bring that up. Riley Moss with a couple phenomenal plays. that I
might have to get a Moss
make. Really, really good plays by Riley Moss and Christopher Earl. Actually,
oh
my God!
He did get beat once. I do remember that play, but
it was the touchdown, the Chris Godwin touchdown. It was the only score that was allowed to the Bucs today. However, looking back at it, Riley Moss had perfect coverage on that play. Baker Mayfield just put the ball as a veteran quarterback. He put the ball where only Godwin could catch it. Like Riley Moss had perfect coverage.
Here's the deal with that. As I look up Chris Godwin's stats, Riley Moss is going to be. I think he's one of the most. He was one of the most targeted DBs in the NFL. We know that opposite Pat Surtain, that's going to happen, but it's making him grow and get better every single game. And you're starting to see that. So eventually those numbers that the receivers are getting, I think Tyler Lockett had 1 touchdown and 76 yards. If I'm correct, I think Chris Godwin maybe had 63 yards and 1 touchdown. You're going to start to see those numbers dwindle. They're going to start to dwindle as he gets better and better. And sooner or later, that wide receiver 2 for offensive teams is going to be shut away too. Because what you saw with Riley Moss was a pass breakup, and then you saw that forced fumble at the end. They're moving the ball. Even if it's garbage time, we're not letting you score. And that's what was the most impressive to me, was he stood him up, and then Riley Moss comes and gets that forced fumble. It wasn't an interception, but he said he was going to make a play, and he came in and he made that play. So it's definitely good to have that cornerback too, opposite Pat Surtain. And you start to see, I think Baker Mayfield, he had 200 passing yards, maybe?
Baker Mayfield. No, that was us. Baker Mayfield only had 163 passing yards today.
He had less than 100 in the fourth quarter. That was made mostly on the last 2 drives for them.
Yes. So he had Baker Mayfield. He was good as far as his passes go, 25 to 33, but he only had 163 yards. So they were mostly check downs and short routes. 1 touchdown, the one to Chris Godwin, and then of course the interception by. Can we talk about Brandon freaking Jones in this game?
The scoop as well. Very, very aware, very playing that center field extremely well the way Jay Sims used to.
Yes, I would love to point out that the forced fumble that he recovered was forced by one Riley Moss.
You're right.
You're
right.
Yes.
What a yes. Wow. Just wow.
I said we need to win the turnover battle today. We absolutely accomplished that. Another unsung hero, I feel like, in this game. Blitz brings it up here. Credit for Sutton for changing his cleats. We finally saw some speed, but he got 11 targets. I said I wanted to see at least 10 out of him, and we actually made an effort to highlight Courtland Sutton and give him chances. Give him 50-50.
Johnny, what's the stats?
So, Court had 7 receptions for 68 yards.
That's a good game. What was Chris Godwin's stats? I couldn't find him. What was Chris Godwin's stats?
Chris Godwin was targeted 9 times. He had 6 receptions for 53 yards and a touchdown.
That's a good game by Riley Moss.
It's a very good game.
When you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the same team, and the Buccaneers are hot 2-0, and then you go in their house, that's a really good game by Riley Moss.
Well, you got to give Sutton. You got to give Justin.
Shout out to Courtland Sutton because he stepped up. I was going to say, Johnny, and I'll let you go. Shout out to Courtland Sutton because he really stepped up from opening catch of the game. You can just see him. He started to get that rhythm. That connection was starting to come in. And then he had a sneaky 7 receptions, 68 yards. And I like that. I definitely like that. Go ahead, Johnny.
But you got to give some love too. We're talking about Riley Moss shutting down Chris Godwin, but do not forget to give just desserts to Jaquan McMillan, because Jaquan McMillan was covering Godwin at least half the game in the nickel. Yep. And I mean, he got beat a couple times too, but I mean, McMillan was all over the damn field.
He was. He had a great game.
And PJ Locke, except PJ Locke too, except for that one, except for that double penalty he incurred. I mean, for crying out loud. What was it, Pat?
We never even saw it. I don't even know what it was.
It was a defensive pass interference and a face mask by him in the same play. And both were enforced because one is a personal foul.
Yep.
So
Compound.
like, I mean, I'm like, oh, that can't happen.
Safeties in the NFL. Other than that, PJ Locke going into this week was one of the top 3 strong safeties in the NFL, according to PFF, who's they're hit and miss. But he's definitely a top safety. When do we say no fly zone 2.0? Do we have to have a winning record to begin to say that? Because right now, averaging 100 no fly zone 2.0. When do we say
it's too early? Too early.
Too early for that.
That's what I'm saying. Do we have to have a winning record to say that?
For all the naysayers of Vance Joseph, no one should be speaking ill of Vance Joseph. He has been dialing up the defense.
Not today.
Oh my goodness.
No, Brian.
That new name?
He's been on before.
Welcome back, Noah. He says all about interior D-line pressure that we haven't had recently. Yes. And it's been consistent this year, and that's what George Payton and Sean Payton wanted to do, was store up that offensive line. And that's one of the things the announcer said when they came in. They said this is their strength, is the interior defensive line. And Zach Allen is having a Pro Bowl season. He'll be up there with Chris Jones this year and maybe Quentin Williams. He's having an out-of-this-world year, and you can see that starting to help with Jonathan Cooper too. Because now Jonathan Cooper, I think, has 3 sacks in 3 games.
Real quick.
Zach Allen,
you
have the stats put up for the defense?
Go ahead.
I'll put the stats.
This is Noah Bryan. This is the Noah Bryan comment, but it's actually our dear friend, Jeff Bryan, on his son Noah's account. So I knew I recognized the name. Jeff, but it's good to see you again, buddy. We haven't, since we repartnered our network, Orange and Blue Network, with MHRT. We hadn't seen you since we left MHRT the first time. So, it's good to see you back in the chat, my friend. Isaiah, whatever stat you're bringing up.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I just before you get that stat up, just an obscure shout out to Pat Surtain, and I'm gonna just say it's Pat Surtain Sr. for making that baby boy. Thank you, Pat Surtain Sr.
And teaching that baby boy.
And Pat Bolin, because you know what? We haven't mentioned Pat Bolin in quite some time. And rest in peace, he deserves a shout out. So thank you, D-Rock, for those reminders.
Shout out Pat Bolin. Shout out Pat Bolin. Right now, Tyler Bidet is averaging 15.6 yards per carry. Tyler Bidet is right now averaging 16.6 yards per carry. He had 9 carries for 70 yards, averaging 7.8 yards per carry. Boy! There's that.
So
I love that. That was cool.
When Audric Estime comes back, does Javonte even suit up?
See, I was going to say this. I think Javonte may be in a better role as RB2. Because remember, he came from North Carolina. He wasn't the number 1 guy. Michael Carter was. But they were a good 1-2 punch. So this year is the first year he's actually been – or was that last year? Yeah, since coming back healthy, carrying the load. So maybe if he goes back down to RB2, he doesn't necessarily get all the carries. But, he's a great pass blocker. And he can catch the ball. He did well. So maybe RB2, maybe having him Tyler Bidet RB1, Javonte Williams RB2, maybe come in healthy.
Hey, don't forget Jaleel, man. Jaleel got them wheels.
Jaleel got that touchdown when no other players making that play. No other players making that play to turn the corner after that.
No, he on the average, he did a lot better today. It's still tough with him because if he's not breaking tackles. So it has to be the offensive line has to be almost perfect every time he gets the ball. So I'm hesitant for him to be 2 or 1. I like him at 3. I like what he's doing, but I have to give credit where credit is due. The way he broke down that defender for that touchdown was absolutely immaculate. I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead. I thought he was about to die. I thought he was dead.
And I literally saw Jaleel McLaughlin's life flash before my eyes.
My initial thought was, what a stupid play call on 4th down.
I agree. Let's see, Blitz popping in. shout out to them spaghetti that I ate during the game, and shout out to no more white jerseys. Just use the blue and orange rest of the season.
I agree.
Well, I wish that we could, man, but unfortunately, if the other home team elects to wear white, we're forced to. Or, I don't remember how it's working now because you can wear the white jersey at home games, and it's not like it used to be where the home team always wore the color and the away team was always white. Now they're mixing it up, and I don't know how they've determined who gets what when, but if you look, like that's just how it's going to be now. And so I agree. The white, we have not done well in the white, but you know what? I'm not looking down on nothing right now. I'm not. I can't. I'm too pumped.
So let me make a pivot comment here. This is another point that we haven't brought up.
Pivots and divots and pivots and divots and pivots and divots and pivots and divots. Okay, go ahead.
On the first drive of the game, we had a delay of game penalty because we did not get that play call in, and it was on my mind of like, oh my God, here we go again with the long play calls that is just supposed to be like a running back draw up the middle. Whoop-de-doo. But thankfully, that was the last time we saw that in the entire game. Other than that, I saw every other play call come in with more than 15 seconds left on play call, which made a massive difference, I think, organizationally for our offense.
Absolutely.
Massive.
And talking about that first drive alone, can we just give it to Bo 4 for 4 for what was it, 70 yards on that first drive?
Yeah.
And a running touchdown. Listen, he hasn't got his first passing touchdown, but it's coming. But like the dude, he's the guy, man. Can we actually say it now? Can we actually say it? He's the guy.
Poised.
He is so poised. He has so much composure. He sees the entire field and he feels it. It's not even just it's just natural. It's instinct for him now. You can see it. And I mean, go Bo, go baby, go Bo, go.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
Go, Bo, go.
Blitz comes in with he says, are the Jets really a powerhouse? Because Baki, you called it earlier in the podcast, and Baker hasn't played a good defense, and now he has and got exposed. I know Sauce G is a stud, but who else they got? Well, that's a good question because we did take away Jonathan Franklin Myers, and that had to happen due to their salary cap. So we took one of the defenders away. So they still have a pretty decent front seven. They got a good linebacker, of course, CJ Mosley.
They don't have running.
They can still be I don't know if they can be top 5. They'll still be a top 10 defense. They'll definitely be a top 10 defense. Their secondary may give us some fits. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. I think our defense is a lot better still than people are giving it credit for. I think our defense is better than most offenses in the NFL. I think we have a top 3 defense, a potential for a top 3 defense. So I'm thinking if Patrick Surtain takes up Garrett Wilson, who else did they have? Alan Lazard. Riley Moss has shown very capable. We have a great nickel. Our safeties are doing well. So I think it could be if we can take this momentum and really bond as a team in West Virginia, and go up to New York and really get momentum going into the Jets, and we can be consistent. I could see us going 21-17, shocking the NFL, and beating the Jets going 2-2.
The only setback I think that we may see, though, is Aaron Rodgers is incredible at the line of scrimmage, making adjustments.
He's still Aaron Rodgers. You can't count him out.
On pressures. And Vance Joseph, for as good as he is, it's not like he necessarily disguises guns. When he's showing pressure, he's showing pressure. Like, it's not like that's coming out of nowhere. And Aaron,
you can look at the field, you can look at the formation and know we're rushing 6 right now.
Yep,
you can look right at it and know
that ain't gonna fly with Aaron Rodgers like it does with these other quarterbacks. So something to be said about that. But
VJ has a whole week, to prepare to decide.
It's going to be up to our front 4.
Yep,
it's going to be up to our front 4 next week. Then.
Our front 4 is going to have the ball.
IR. But it seems that we have a good front 4. Malcolm Roach is one of the best nose tackles in the NFL when it comes to stopping the run. DJ Jones is doing Jay. Surprising, right?
Well, I mean, he was a under the radar signing, like in the offseason. Under the radar person that like I thought, well, that's great depth and all, but like he's not even going to see the field. But he's played
D-Rock.
extremely well.
Yo, D-Rock.
He's one of the best.
I've been drinking dark and white liquors. Hashtag race relations. We have a win too. Did Christmas come early? Yes. I love it, buddy. I love it. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Malcolm Roach has been elite. So him in that depth, and then now you have Jordan Jackson definitely getting a lot more playing time too. That's 2 games in a row. So Jordan Jackson's now getting that maturity. So it may not just be Jonathan. There's a good rotation of people: Jonathan Franklin Myers, Malcolm Roach, DJ Jones,
DeAndre Tillman.
Allen. So they're not. But he's coming off on the edge mostly. But he'll be a good stunt guy. And he led the team in sacks today with 2. So he's now another rotational
he
guy.
Tied.
Benito.
No, Isaiah. He tied in sacks.
Right now, I'm only saying that. Who did he tie with? Because I only see one person with 2 sacks.
No, you're right. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought Cooper had 2. Yeah. My apologies.
Yeah, him and Allen both had 1. It says Devon Key had 1. Jonathan Franklin Myers had 1. Nick Benito had 1. Everybody had 1. And Dondre
everyone
had 2. So now our defensive line is starting to come. We're starting to get our we still haven't even gotten our identity yet. Our defense has gotten our identity. You don't do anything. We tell you what to do. That's our defense. We tell you what to do.
Back to when I said that Jaquan McMillan was all over the field. I mean, Alex Singleton did what he always does. He led the team in tackles. 10 total tackles, 4 solo. However, I'm drunk. Shout out me, says D-Rock. But Jaquan McMillan all over the field. 9 total tackles, 8 of them solo. So I mean, dude was a menace in the secondary. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, and the next who was in tackles was Jaquan McMillan, with 8 solo tackles. He had 9 total tackles, 8 solo tackles. So we have defensive backs who can come in and play close to the line and hit. And so we got guys that can also defend as well. So I think their top 2 receivers had a total of less than 100 yards together. That's what our defense is able to do. And then, like you said, an interception earlier in the game. Jaquan McMillan was dropped back in cover 2, and was able to make Baker throw a floater. Brandon Jones playing middle field came in, picked it off, and then later on, throw it to a tight end. Who was it that stood him up? Who stood him up?
It was
Devon Key that stood him up.
I think it might have been.
It wasn't.
I think it might have been Devon Key. It wasn't Jaquan. I believe it was Devon Key that stood him up, and then Riley Moss came and punched the ball free.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Jay,
so
before we go. Go.
No, go ahead, Johnny.
You thought oh yeah, I was just gonna bring up another point. So if you have something on that last one, go.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Right. All I was gonna say is, hey Jay, before we give balls, can we just talk about the lack of drops?
Bruh.
We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
No, that's a big deal. That really is.
Yeah.
We said it. The pregame, we were like, "Stop!" That was literally the last words we threw out there. Was "Stop dropping the ball." And lo and behold, the only incomplete passes were either thrown out of bounds because they were a little too high, or they were just not catchable passes. There was that one close to the red zone miscommunication. It looked like I couldn't tell who it was between Bo and his receiver, where Bo was throwing closer to the sideline and his receiver cut in. You could definitely tell that there was a miscommunication between one or the other. Don't know which.
Yep.
But beyond that, every catchable pass was caught.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. That's a big.
I don't think I saw one drop.
No, I don't remember one at least.
And Sean Payton came out and said that the game plan was he wanted to be aggressive early with the passes and then run it later. And it worked out perfectly. Perfectly. But like I said, in the beginning, it came out.
That's been the laughing stock of the Steelers defense, basically saying we knew exactly what this offense was going to do. It was going to be conservative. It was going to be under 10 yards. And all we had to do was stack the box and wait. Like, they literally said that post game. So,
Bo threw several long passes today. One for 30 and one for I think one went for 38.
Yep. There was a 22-yarder from Cortland, the 31-yarder for Josh Reynolds. Just a lot of attempts, a lot of routes. Even if we didn't target it, at least the route went that way to at least give off the impression that we could.
Which shows, again, a couple weeks in, the team's starting to find a rhythm. They're finally starting to mesh. They're finally starting to gel a little bit. You got to get into it. Got to get the shoulders into it. Yeah. But they're starting to understand this highly simple and yet totally complicated playbook. You can see that they're finally starting to get it.
Yep.
Because the routes were clean.
They were. And
that doesn't happen if you don't understand the playbook.
Avatar in the house.
Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
He says, I love that the offensive line didn't give up a single sack today. Big old goose egg. Take that. Take that. I mean, especially when you have a
builder.
Yeah.
That's a confidence.
Especially when you have what's his name.
Go into somebody's house, undefeated, punch him in the mouth.
Right.
And leave.
And that's especially when they have what's his name on the Bucs have what's his name?
Todd Bowles?
No, the sack, the guy who God, escaping me all of a sudden.
Levante David.
You called him out for like an MVP in their Super Bowl win, Isaiah. What was his name? You wanted him so bad to come to our team at one point. Huh? Not Shaq Barrett.
No, he retired. You talking about from the Levante David?
Yeah, Levante David. I mean, to give up no sacks. Yeah, to give no sacks, Levante David does what he does usually. Impressive.
And I'm not going to ignore you.
I was going to wait and say he's trying to trigger you, Jay.
No, he is trying to trigger me, and I will not allow this blasphemy for Damari Mathis. Okay, he's not even around to defend himself. Okay, when he is, he'll be fine. All right, so let's just knock that libel slander down.
Yeah, but Jay, who does better defense, Mathis or Moss? We already know.
We'll see. We'll see. Jury's still out.
You think Mathis is better than Moss?
Well, I don't know.
Jay has had a hard on for Mathis for a long time.
I would never put Mathis on Chris Godwin or Tyler Lockett. I would never do that.
We didn't think that his rookie year. He was the second coming. So,
the second coming was cut short, cuz.
It's true.
Do we need an intervention?
He also says that he wished Bo would realize when there was a free play to take a shot downfield. And he did, because that free play that he fumbled on, he wouldn't have taken that chance if he didn't already know that flag was out.
Yeah, no. So, he knew that he had a free play there. He was just trying to wait for someone to come open.
Correct.
And just managed to get hit from behind. So, I mean, and honestly, if they had gone back, I kind of thought this to myself, even though, it was negated by the fact that there was a pre-play penalty on the defense. Watching it in real time, and then I went back in slow-mo and rewatched that. I can't remember if we'd already used our challenge at that point. I don't think so, though. If you had thrown the challenge flag, you might have been able to say that it was a incomplete pass and that there was forward motion of his arm before the ball popped out.
Potentially.
I'm not saying that it was. It doesn't matter because it didn't count for anything. But I'm just saying, when I was watching it, I was like, it looks like his arm had begun to move forward when he took the hit. Therefore, it would have been an incomplete, not a fumble. So either way.
So, boys, should we give out some balls? Should we get some honorary?
I mean, I feel like this team had all the balls today already, but I feel maybe a couple guys could use a few more balls.
Absolutely, and I think there's going to be some surprises out there.
They're calling Bo Nix. They're calling Bo Nix Vanilla Vic.
Vanilla. Who's calling him that?
They said because that escape run that he had, everybody's talking about how they're like, wait. Because a lot of people are starting to realize Bo Nix is actually much quicker and faster than I thought he was.
Fast.
Because most of them So when they watch that run, they're like, "Oh my god, he's actually really fast."
And he's slippery.
So now they're going, yes,
he's got some moves.
Think he felt that. honestly, when I was watching the game, I did not think he felt that pressure. I was like, "There's no way." Because the one where it was the his arm got hit, he didn't feel that one. And then later on, this play happens, and I'm like, "Oh no, he's not gonna feel it." And at the last second, he felt it, and I was like, "Oh, he's about to go down." I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Is he gonna take this to the house like that one Oregon? He's gonna take one of those to the house. He's going to take one of those to the house, and I can't wait. I cannot wait."
I'm here for it.
Let's go. Let's talk about ball.
All right, you guys ready? You guys ready for balls?
I'm always ready for balls.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So some game balls, a happy-go-lucky game. There's plenty of good things to highlight today. So y'all want to just kind of speed through maybe 3 apiece? Is that too many?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Isaiah, why don't you start her off?
Alex Pachevsky. Alex Pachevsky. And then Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey was on IR. Broncos came into Tampa Bay 0-2. There's questions about this offensive line, this run game, what's going to happen. And then the worst of the worst news. Your starting right tackle, whatever you believe about him, our starting right tackle goes down. What are we going to do? Alex Pachevsky comes in and starts. Sean Payton, says he has confidence in him. Okay,
he shows God.
Absolutely. And there's talk on Twitter. Streets are talking. They're saying, is McGlinchey's job in question?
Yes,
because that's how the game he played, and to come in, help us get a win in the starting right tackle job. That's a game ball off rip. I knew it at the end of the third quarter. I don't want to say anything, but I knew at the end of the third quarter, hey, that guy's getting a game ball because he came in and stepped up. So that's going to be my one. Maybe there's a reason. We're going 3 run around.
Maybe there's a reason McGlinchey wasn't a captain this year, and he was last year. So tides maybe are turning.
Well, and that's the thing, too. You got to think about that. Team captains are voted on by the players.
Yep.
His fellow players lost faith in
him.
Something to be said.
Jay, are we going 1 around or 3 each rapid fire?
Oh,
let's go 1 around.
Round robin? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Johnny, you go.
No, all right. Isaiah went offense, so I'm going to go offense. And I'm going to give it, on offense, I'm probably stealing yours right here, Isaiah. But Tyler Beatty. Tyler Beatty gets my offensive game ball.
You mean bidet?
Yeah, sorry. My bad, bidet. Named after a freaking butt washer. Okay.
Damn it, Johnny!
I know. I'm ashamed. Anyway, moving on. Tyler Bidet gets mine. He and Avatar agrees. He comes in off the practice squad to play, and he just tore that field up, man. I mean, Isaiah, what did you say his yards per carry is right now?
9 rushes, 70 yards. Right now, from his 3 games or the 2 games he's played, he's averaging 15.6 yards per carry.
That guy, I mean, he may not have won the starting position outright, but he's come in and he's showing why he should have. And
that bidet,
that bidet, man. I liked what I saw. He's fast. He's wily. He's quick. He's wily. And I really want, I was like, I want to give him my offensive game ball. So,
Johnny, and I think
Tyler Bidet, here's your game ball.
I think Blitz builds on top of that because Sean Payton is a coach who doesn't discriminate based on draft. If you're undrafted and you can ball, I'm going to use you. So he realized Tyler Bidet is one who produces, so then he gave him touches. And then toward the end of the game, it was all his to carry to close out the game. He ended up the game as the running back. So it's because Sean Payton goes back and reflects and examines that now all of a sudden we had no run game. All of a sudden, hold on, wait a minute. Things may have completely changed now. Things have made completely changed now, all because Sean Payton was wanting to give Tyler Bidet a chance. So Jay,
Have you seen these last two
Good God.
comments? Dear
You know,
Lord.
it does not seem like it was a noon kickoff. It seems like it was a late kickoff.
Yeah. Blitz. Popping in. Wait, Baki. A butt shower gets your balls? Weirdo. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Weirdo.
My game ball goes to Kim K because she can really work them. Did I mention I'm very intoxicated?
Once or twice.
That Kim K. My game ball, I'm going to probably steal Johnny's thunder because this is his usual route, but I'm going Will Lutz. Will Lutz to start her off. And 4
Thank
for
you,
4,
Jay.
43 yard as his long, 2 extra points. That guy, with every week, I get more and more confidence that I don't even have to think about it. Like he's an automatic. Like I got no sweat.
He's having a Pro Bowl season. He's having a Pro Bowl season right now.
When we got him, you remember when we got him last season, and then he missed his first couple, and we were all sitting here like, what the hell did we do?
Bro.
I wanted Brandon McManus off the team, but did I want him off the team this badly? Look at him now.
Will Clutch.
Yeah, he didn't miss.
Will
I'll bring that back. I'll bring that back up. He didn't miss after those first 2 he missed. Last year, I think he only missed one more.
One more, and it was because of severe wind.
Yeah. So and he's been 6 for 6 this year, or if not more than that. He's having a legitimate Pro Bowl season. Yeah, more than that. He's having a legitimate Pro Bowl season. So yeah, I'm glad because he's going to be my honorable mention. But shout out to you, Jay, for coming out with that. I'm gonna go with my second one. I'm gonna go defense. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go Brandon Jones. The easy one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say easy one, but I'm gonna go with Brandon Jones. Mine's gonna be Brandon Jones. The reason why it's not just because he had 1 interception and 1 fumble recovery, but in addition to that, coming in and filling Justin Simmons' spot, who leads the league in interceptions since 2016, a fan favorite, fan of the show, a friend of mine. We love Justin Simmons. Broncos Country loves Justin Simmons. So to come in and be the free safety to take over for Justin Simmons, there's questions. The secondary hasn't been a question.
And not to mention have been injured, practicing almost the entire offseason.
True.
Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. That's a valid point. That's a very valid point. And to come in and the secondary hasn't been a question all season, but now to actually see it produce, in addition to there be no question, and it coming from him, always in the right spot. What that just tells me is he's always in the right spot. He's like the way Jaquan yesterday, just always in the right spot. Last year, I'm sorry, not yesterday, yesteryear, I should say. So Brandon Jones gets my.
Of all the time, 100 days in a yesteryear. But all right. Am I going again, Jay?
You are.
All right. So this one, you guys might not really like this one too much.
Uh-oh.
I'm doing this. I'm taking my game ball. I'm taking my cleaver out.
Uh-oh.
And I'm chopping it into pieces. And then I'm throwing those pieces to the entire Broncos defensive line.
I was gonna do the entire defense, but instead I did it. Okay, that's fair.
Defensive line.
That's fair.
The defensive line, absolutely, except for a few chunk runs for Irving.
Bucky. Yep.
Bucky Irving.
Which we missed a great marketing opportunity to draft him with Bo.
Sure.
He's a Oregon Duck.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Well, yeah, right. That number 7 on the Bucs, that Bucky guy. Anyway, no. But I'm gonna give it to the defensive line, man, because they were. Yes, I'm chopping up first. I gave my balls to a bidet, and now I'm chopping up my other my balls. Okay.
American Psycho down here.
I know, for real, dude. It's okay. They're replaceable. I'm told, but they have very. I have enough children. They have very real implants nowadays. Very realistic implants nowadays. I'll be okay. But no, I'm giving the game ball to the entire defensive line because they were shutting down the run for the most part. I mean, meeting them at the line, letting them barely squeeze out 2 or 3 for the most part. And then on top of that, they were in Baker Mayfield's face all freaking day. Not just the sacks, 7 sacks in the game. That's insane. That's insane. But on top of that, how many times did we see someone in his face, the pressure on Baker Mayfield not to include the sacks. He threw for several bad passes, several important incompletions in key moments. It was clutch, and he was flustered. And this is a veteran quarterback who I said in the pregame show, Jay. You remember, I've always been a big Baker Mayfield fan. A lot of people haven't been. I've always liked the guy, and to see him, doing what he's been doing in the league now that he's on the Bucs, not on the Browns, and then to see us be able to get him scared, you could see it on his face. He was scared. That's because of our defensive line. I'm giving my game ball to the entire defensive line. So here you go.
I like it.
D-Rock coming in. Don't chop those balls. This is America. That's the liquor typing. I'm starting to guess, D-Rock, that you're hanging out with Mr. Jim Leahy. He is the liquor. So you better watch that out. Randy Bobandy might be coming at you. But Richie Baker with small hands, can't trust him like a carny. Yeah, get on the road, carnies.
Before we bring up Avatar, who's got your second ball?
So my second ball is going to go to the aforementioned Vanilla Vic. Love me some Bo Nix today. I can't wait for D-Line to come out with a Vanilla Vic t-shirt that says he's got that.
I actually like that.
Can't wait.
I actually like that nickname.
I love that nickname. And I love that I counted 3 run designs for Bo Nix today. He had 9 rushing attempts, but I love getting his feet involved in this game because it, again, keeps the defense honest. It keeps it in the back of their head of like, hey, this guy we need to account for. We need to have a spy. We need to know that he can jet out. And it opens everything up, including our running game in just a normal formation. But Bo had incredible poise this game. Didn't throw a touchdown still, but didn't give up a sack. Didn't throw an interception. Didn't make any of the big mistakes that he has. And every single game he has played, he has gotten better and progressed and fixed flaws that he made in previous games. And that is all you can hope for a rookie. So he definitely gets a game ball for me.
And, they're talking about this is the best game by any rookie quarterback so far this season. Was Bo Nix's game.
No question. No question.
Touchdowns. So he has 2 rushing touchdowns on the season now. And so what it's showing right now is I think he leads all rookie quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns. But what it's showing is this is a dynamic of rushing before we even get to the passing touchdowns because we've seen him grow every week. So we know those passing touchdowns are coming. But right now, so far, the first few weeks is, hey, he can run, huh? He can run, huh? He leads all rookie quarterbacks in rushing yards. And I'm
going to say this. I'm going to throw this in there. I'm going to throw this in there with you. I said it in the pregame that once we start to see Bo's confidence build, confidence will equal success.
Yep.
And what we saw from Bo today was true confidence. In his abilities, in his teammates, and in the play calling. He had confidence in all stages, and because of that, success.
Yep. You're right. It's vibes. Vibes are immaculate.
Yeah, he was turned up after that first drive. He was hyped. And I think the rest of the team fed off that. That first opening drive when they scored, and Sean Payton said himself in the press conference, they asked, because I thought we deferred, because we always defer. We always defer. So when it came up, I was like, why do we? And so Sean Payton said in the press conference, I wanted to make it known. I wanted to come out and make a statement to the team and to the team that we're going to come out aggressive. And he said the team responded. So yeah, he won. So Bo Nix was hyped after that first touchdown. New name, Ray Haas. Good afternoon, fellas.
Not new. We know Ray.
New today.
But it's good to see you, Ray.
New to me.
Good to see you, Ray.
Good to me. So that's something that Sean Payton wanted to make a statement, and Bo Nix was hyped after it because he knew what Sean Payton wanted. Bo Nix executed it, and I think the team fed off from the first play of the first drive. If you see him on the sideline, the whole sideline was turned up for that. They loved it. And you could just and I told Johnny this last week, or if I didn't tell Johnny, I was thinking of it. We hadn't played with the lead all season. This was the first time we actually played with the lead, and I thought to myself, I said, I think this team is very, very, very different if we play with the lead. I think this team is very different if we play with the lead. And this time, Sean Payton was like, okay, let's see what that team looks like when we play with the lead. 26-7,
Sure.
we got the win.
Although I will say they need to learn how to play from behind too.
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to
Yeah,
play
it is
from the
true.
lead.
Isaiah,
No, you're not. And you got to learn it. So Avatar said it, and I'm going to agree with Avatar. My final game ball goes to Dondre Tillman. He gets one for me with 2 sacks. He came in, pressures all over the place. Like I said, guy that came from, I want to say the UFL or the XFL, undrafted, came and got a chance, made the 53-man roster.
I want to say it was UFL.
Yeah.
UFL. Came to training camp, made the 53-man, got brought up from the practice squad, and immediately produced. That just shows the depth. That just shows his work ethic, his motor, his understanding of the game, his reason for belonging. His route was similar to Alex Singleton's. So to come around full circle and then be productive like that, and it builds this culture that Sean Payton and the Broncos continue to show, along with Jaleel McLaughlin, is, hey, I don't care where you come from. Can you ball? If you can ball and play for this team, you will play. Tyler Bidet, Jaleel McLaughlin, Dondre Tillman, Alex Singleton. And you're starting to see that culture being built in. And Dondre Tillman is just another example of that winning culture that Sean Payton's starting to build. So
I was going to say, it's a winning
final
culture.
game ball.
All right.
And D-Rock coming in here. He still needs to shorten the play calls, but that also could be the mushrooms. And Richie pretty much following it up, saying there definitely is a play call called bong hit on 20. Now, let me just say, Phil Jackson smoked a lot of peyote in his day, and he was a perfectly fine coach, so not necessarily a hindrance.
Aaron Rodgers played a game on Percocets and destroyed the Patriots. So it's not been a known thing that people will do it. So I wouldn't be surprised.
D-Rock agrees with you, though.
Yep.
That's my final game ball. Johnny.
What's your final
All right.
Johnny?
All right. I'm giving mine see, this is a tough one because there's 2 guys at this position that I feel like deserve a game ball today. But I'm going to give it to the one. I'm going to give it to the one who, to me, had his breakout today, and that's Riley Moss. Obviously, I can sit here. You can call so much for Pat Surtain to get it instead because of how he shut down Mike Evans. 2 receptions for 17 yards. I mean, but at the same time, we finally, the last few weeks I've been watching Riley Moss like a hawk because I love him. I want him to succeed.
Like a hawk guy?
He's like, I would go. Oh, there we go. But no, I've been sitting there, watching Riley Moss because I think he's the dark horse player that I have really wanted, more than any other player this season, besides maybe Bo Nix, to see really come into his own and take his position and show why he got it and why he deserves it. And so I've been wanting that. And today, the last few weeks, we've seen him miss some tackles. We've seen him fail to wrap dudes up. We've seen him, get burned on some routes. But today, he had tight coverage on almost every single ball thrown his way, whether he could defend it or not. The guy was tight on his targets. He was right where he needed to be. What was his tackle count on this? 6 tackles on the day. 3 of them solo. He lit it up. And he showed why, you might not want to throw it Pat Surtain, but hey, you might want to think twice before you throw my way too.
Yeah.
So, as much as I would love to give it to PS2 because he shut down Mike Evans, I've got to give it to Riley Moss for truly opening up and coming into his own today.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I mean, he's definitely deservatory.
Yeah, there's no panic in him. There's no panic in him.
And Jay.
So I've got an honorary mention of Brandon Jones because he needs to be mentioned because he did have his welcome to the Broncos moment. I think today.
Isaiah gave Brandon Jones one.
You did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Must have oversaw that. But so my game ball is going to Sean Payton, because just the incredible turnaround that he did in the personnel changes, the dynamic.
Give the man a round of applause.
Like, only put players in optimal position based upon their skill set was something that we've been waiting for a long time. For Troy Franklin to get 5 targets in this game is what I have been. I didn't get to see my jet sweep for Marvin Mims, but we got to see actual crossing routes for speedsters like Mims and Franklin. We got to see things that set them up for success. I saw videos of last game of Troy Franklin being given option routes that he has to make a determination of which way to go in a route. And obviously that's not a strong suit as a rookie. So we dumbed the playbook down for him and actually put him in position for success. And that's all coaching. Same thing with the couple of things that I pointed out of the extra RPOs for Bo, as well as the play calls with Tyler Bidet and Jaleel McLaughlin in the game at the same time in the same backfield. Those are things that we just haven't seen before, and I just hope we take that and continue to be dynamic with it and not go back to vanilla Sean, because I'm ready for vanilla Vic.
Honorable mention, Vance Joseph for me. Honorable mention, Vance Joseph. He looks like, honestly, he looks like one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. He looks like he could be a hot commodity. And honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't want him going anywhere.
No one's hiring him for a head coaching job. I promise.
I thought the same thing. Let them stay where they're. And honestly, I don't even think Vance would go anywhere. I think Vance likes what he has. He has complete control. I mean, he looks like a mastermind out there. He's just throwing stuff. We blitz the highest in the NFL, and it's not even close. But we also generate, I think, 3rd or 4th most pressures, so it works.
That being said, like we said earlier, he definitely needs to work on learning how to disguise, because going up against, like you said, Jay, someone like Aaron Rodgers next week, he's not going to be falling for some of those 6-man pressures that Baker was falling for. Just saying.
And Aaron Rodgers has autonomy at the line, just like Peyton Manning did. He does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. I would like to give an honorable mention as well.
Go for it, Johnny.
I would like to give an honorable mention, not game ball, but an honorable mention. Again, this is another one I wish I could just chop up and toss around, but I'm going to give it to a specific player, Cortland Sutton. He opened up today. We saw the speed that he's been missing. I don't know if he was sick like the last couple games or something, because he was slow, he was sluggish, he seemed off, but he looked like Cortland Sutton again today. He was getting where he needed to be. He was doing it quickly and he was doing it right. And no dropped passes, which he dropped a few early on in the season, and I was like, this is not the Cortland Sutton we know. So honorable mention, Cortland Sutton. Welcome back, sir.
Mundungus comes in with his that the opposite of game balls, like give me the ball, you're not allowed to touch it again. Garrett Holmes and Javonte Williams, they can get gone. And I'm in total agreement. And unfortunately for them, that will happen at year end, if not at the trade deadline, if we could get a bag of chips for them. So,
yeah,
who's going to be our left tackle?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Someone we draft. First round draft.
But if you trade
around,
yeah.
If our team turns it around, we won't be as high in the draft to get somebody like Will Campbell. So do we go elsewhere, or
it's not like Garrett Bowles was a high draft pick?
Well,
we can find mid first round draft pick.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm starting to trust Zach Strief. I'm starting to trust Zach Strief because Pocheski came out in bald, so.
I don't know.
That's where I'm leaving it.
There are solutions other than Garrett Bowles. So, all right, boys. Phenomenal game. I'm so excited for what this game.
It's a W.
Its potential. it's the potential that we've been longing for so long. And I'm just so glad to see some fruits of that faith. So before we get out of here, just once again, like, share, and subscribe. Get the channel out there. Again, we're fanalists. We love just dissecting each game, each press conference, just all of it. So Orange and Blue Network here, and then obviously our partner in crime, MHRT Network as well. So we got both, social media platforms there. So go find some of them. Like, share, and subscribe, please. So with that, gentlemen, appreciate your time today. Love you guys. And it's good vibes for the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can we do one more thing before we go?
Absolutely.
Just one more time?
Yeah, boy.
And with that, Broncos Country, you have yourself a phenomenal week of positive vibes. Let's get at it. Let's go, Bo.